Hello everyone, and welcome to Orange University. On these waning days of, Wilds of Eldraine metagame, we're gonna fight the last set with Up Bant, my favorite deck of this new meta. That is Up the Beanstalk, making all of our removal and all of our sort of fight back spells now give us card advantage, which is freaking-tastic. Can you imagine countering a spell and drawing a card all in the same card? It's like Cryptic Command all over again. And that's how good Up the Beanstalk is. What's even better is that the Up the Beanstalk itself draws you a card, so it doesn't just waste itself, right? Every time you play it, you get a card draw. So this deck is absolutely fun. I love how this deck plays out. I want to see how well it can still do in today's metagame. It's actually 61 cards for some reason. I guess I'll cut one. It should be the Nisa. Alright, so here is what the deck list looks like. We got 4 Laydown Arms, 2 March of Otherworldly Light, and 3 Syncopate. I won't actually put these over here. So the reason for that is, of course, because these are not actually 1-drop. We want to cast these for 4 or higher, X's 4 or higher, such that our Up the Beanstalk can actually draw us a card. That's the idea of them. Now, in the early game, we also need to have a little bit of, counterspell synergy. So we have 2 Make Disappear with 4 Up the Beanstalk. And then we have 2 Celestis to help us get the amount of mana we need. This deck is very mana intensive. Then we have 4 Wandering Emperor. We definitely need 4 Wandering Emperor to get, enough tempo advantage on board so that we don't just get burst out. Then, of course, the point is to last long enough till turn 5 so we can Sunfall them. And then we also have 2 Invasion of Arcavios to get Wishboard cards, which I'll talk about later. Invasion of Arcavios is great card draw because it gives us any card we want, instant sorcery from outside the game. But more importantly, it also triggers Up the Beanstalk. This is 5-drop, so that's important, right? That's also why I didn't want to play a Memory Deluge or something like that. Even though it's better in this deck, I put it on the sideboard because we can use Invasion of Arcavios to get a card draw and additional cards from that. Then we have 4 Leyline Binding. This is the heart of the deck because Up the Beanstalk with Leyline Binding removes a card, gives us a card draw, and it's pretty early game because with Domain, we can cast it for a lot less. Then we have another wipe. In terms of the Wandering Emperor, which you can board wipe everyone, make him sacrifice all but 1 creature, but that 1 creature is our choice. And then we also have 1 Nisa. The deck lists I found all runs 2, but then they don't run Invasion of Arcavios. I wanted to have 2 Invasion of Arcavios, so I cut 1 Nisa. Cut it down to 1 Nisa. Nisa's pretty great. You can also cast her for 5 mana instead of 7 mana by paying life. Against control deck, that's probably useful. And then we can use her to destroy artifacts and enchantments, which is also necessary in today's metagame where everyone's playing artifacts and enchantments. And then, of course, March and Syncopate can also do some of those. Exile and Counterspelling, which is pretty good. Right, the land base we gotta talk about, because we have 27 lands. And this is something necessary for this crazy deck. We got 1 Agonjo, 6 Plains, a lot of white spells, of course, so 6 Plains. 1 Island, 1 Otawara, 1 Boseiju, 3 Dreamroot Cascade, 4 Yavimaya Coast, 3 Rafine Tower, 2 Jetmir Garden, and 4 Spara Headquarter. This is a Bant deck, so we have 4 of this, but because of Domain, we also want to have Rafine Tower and Jetmir's Garden to help us get the Domain on, and we have more Rafine Tower because white-blue is more important than white-green. Alright, and then we have 1 Mirrex to help us out with potential control matchups, but Mirrex isn't as useful against control matchups with this deck because this deck is the ultimate sort of control with all these card advantage. In fact, I'm going to cut one of these lands. I think I have 4 Dreamroot Cascade now. When I first crafted this deck, the land base was running 3 Dreamroot Cascade because I didn't have 4. Now I have 4. So the sideboard for the Invasion of Arcavios, we have 1 Witness the Future, 1 Devious Cover-Up. Alright, this is our infinite cycle. With Up Bant, we can draw our whole deck over and over. We got 1 Memory Deluge in case we want to have a very fast draw right away, but we also have 1 Silver Scrutiny if we want to have a slower, big draw. For some reason, if all of our Up the Beanstalk got exiled by a card like Farewell. Now, Farewell, typically we use that to exile all artifact creatures, enchantments, and graveyard, but sometimes with this deck we want to keep our graveyard. So, because we're allowed to have green, we can instead also slot in the Wishboard, not always useful, but in the Wishboard, a Titania's Command. This card exiles target player's graveyard and gain 1 life for each card exiled this way. So, if we need to exile our opponent's graveyard, we can do that. If they have a big graveyard, we also gain a lot of life. Titania's Command can also help us get lands out, which is pretty useful because this whole deck is all about using lands to leveraging lands against our opponent. And the best part about Titania's Command is that it says land. It does not say basic land, which is very rare, but amazing card. I think a lot of people forget this in Commander. I would highly recommend if you're playing green to put Titania's Command in your deck. Get your best utility lands out from your deck. 2 of. Crazy. And then the 2/2 bear and the +2/+1 count each creature. No one cares about that. Alright, and then we got Wyson Zenith. If we really need a fast life gain and we need to wipe the board right away, Wyson Zenith can help us do that. It's also called Wyson Twilight. I don't know why I called it Wyson Zenith. That's an old card. Nobody plays that. It's not like the Green Suns or the Black Suns Zenith that everybody loves. Alright, Wyson Twilight though. It's probably the best version of the new Suns. Alright, I think Wyson's Twilight is the only Twilight card that people play. None of the black, green, red, blue. Yeah, nobody plays any of those. Maybe blue for a tricky combo deck. Alright, so that's kind of the whole deck list. I think this Bant deck looks very fun. I want to try it out before we move on to the new meta game. So let's see if anyone is still excited to play against a control matchup. Is everyone just all mono red burn? Because that's what I saw last time I played. And oh boy, have I had fun. Just beating up mono red for no reason. Well, there's a very good reason, but just beating up mono red gets old fast. Mono red is one of those matchups where mono red aggro, that is RDW, is where if you win, you don't feel like you won. It's just they deserve to lose, and you lose, it feels even worse because, well, it's just the draws, right? We're gonna go first. We got Spar Headquarter into Up Bant into Leyline Binding. I think that's a good enough to keep. We probably will still get bursted out by a red deck, so gotta be careful about that. Not a red deck. Alright, this will be fun. So, do we Mirrex or do we Ganjo? Let's say Ganjo. Now, do we Up the Beanstalk? Yes, we do. Dreamroot Cascade's pretty good, but whatever they play now, we can't stop it. Kami is annoying, but we can't lay down armor because we don't have enough white, huh? Well, we can Syncopate, and we can card draw with Leyline Binding. Both is okay. See what they play. If they want to attack, we'll definitely just take the 2 damage. It's not the end of the world with just 2 damage. They're going to have to want to play something. Enchantment aggro. Spirited Companion. Okay. I'm not going to counter a Spirited Companion. They draw a card. Did they pass their turn? They do. Okay. We draw a card too. Alright, this is a good Spara Headquarter, because now we will have Lay Down Arm live with the Wandering Emperor. The question is, do we want to have the Wandering Emperor up anyways? I guess we do. This is better to have the Emperor up right away. In case he wants to play something, and play into the Emperor. Another Kami? Not countering that. Not countering that. Do I counter an Audacity? He gets a card draw out of this, but... I mean, it's attacking my face, right? Maybe I'll just trade it.
Let your blade do the talking.
It's not first strike, and I'll take the extra damage. Oh, right, I have to play this first. Now I can lay down arms on this Kami. And then I'll make a 2/2. Look at that board.
Keep watch for intruders.
And then we can pay this for 5 each time now after the first ley line. Should we need to do something like that? That's nothing. Leyline Binding is going to take out whatever he has. Weaver. Fine. Commune with Spirit. Yeah, you can commune. What are you going to get? An Ossification. Very scary. I want to draw a card, please. Thank you. Let's take this out. Wow, okay. This is a lot of card draws for me. So, on this. That's a 3/3 first striker.
Show them how
I
we
doubt he's gonna
bring
block.
down enemies.
This is whenever you cast. That's slightly more annoying than I think, but he needs to cast a lot. And if he wants to ossify, Calyx. Okay. First of all, this is fine, but the Calyx is not. So we will actually. Do we just exile the Calyx? No, we need to counter it. Or we gotta wait for the attack, right? Because he can ossify this and then attack my guy, and then I'll have nothing left. Okay, fine. Fine. There we go. Okay, so do we let the Emperor die? How do we do this? Oh, I know how do we do this. 4. Exile this creature. Oh, even better. I was gonna play Nissa and pop the enchantment. I guess I can still do that. Look, this really hurts. There goes your Calyx.
Phyrexia is the future.
There also goes your Kami. Is he gonna quit now? Still in the game? Still in the game.
Guards, to me.
Alright, well. Let's see. Catilda? You're gonna play it 1-1? Ossification? Sure. Looks fine. Yeah, why are you still in this? I didn't even get to syncopate anything because of how fun this deck is. Nissa's great. I mean, enchantment deck, -1 destroy target enchantment. That's just not fair. All right, that was a fantastic first showing of the Up Bant. As you drag a spell over the battlefield, don't do that. Play on full control mode. Tap your lands one at a time. I like the auto tapper, but I also hate the auto tapper. I get how the algorithm cannot perfect the way we tap. It's just how does it always choose the worst? This is a terrible hand. We got 3 lands and only 4 drops and up. We do get to go first, but oh boy, that's really bad. We had to mulligan this. Not loving it, but had to do it. Slightly better, I guess. Maybe I'll take. I should keep the laydown arm, right? We are going first. I'll put back a Leyline Binding. We will put down the Spar headquarter. We might need green. Let's see what they are. Ah, mirror. Interesting. If it's a mirror, I think I'm gonna play the second plane in case I need to make disappear his Up the Beanstalk. No, not a mirror. That's more likely to be. This doesn't give me everything. Neither does this. That deck is more likely to be a Traxa, which we're kind of... I want to say we're advantageous against, but not with our current draw. Which kind of weird, I get, but there it is. Stop it. Stop it. No Up the Beanstalk for you. Up the Beanstalk for me, please. Aw. Almost had it. Do I want to cycle this? I do have a lot of lands. And I think it is time to Murex. I don't think I'm going to cycle it, though. That really depends. If he plays a Topiary Stomper here, I probably will have to. We'll hit him with 1/1s. Oh, interesting. The Leyline Binding is not end all be all, and I don't want to play the Leyline Binding. Or rather, I don't want to just lower the Leyline Binding by 1. Rather, what am I saying? I'd rather much have another card. Alright, her migration. We gotta stop him from ramping, but this is just 1 land a turn, which I can handle. He's gonna invasion. No invasions. Interesting. Is he gonna play an Emperor? White. White. He could get an Emperor. Or just quit. My hand was terrible. That was all anti-aggro, but our opponent didn't want to play it out anyways. I guess their hands were worse. It does show that sometimes you should stick it out if you feel like you have a bad hand. Your opponent's hand might be worse. Our opponent should definitely stick it out. I don't know what they have in their hand, but they have a lot of cards. So the fact that they even have lands, right? The fact that they didn't play anything felt kind of weird. We go second this time. Got 3 land removal into invasion. I think that's good enough. Off a keep, but I don't know. Gandalf. Oh, Gandhi here. What is he playing? What is old Gandhi playing? Humans, obviously. Sunset, just to... Okay. Well, if that's what you're playing. That's actually really, really bad for me, to be fair. Because I don't answer very well to this whole kind of nothing in play strategy. I have a lot of removal, but I can't remove things if there's nothing in play. Field of Ruin is okay with me. Oh, I misplayed. That was a huge misplay for me, because I could have got my Emperor out. Alright, let's see if he does it again.
I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you.
Do I just take out his Emperor? I mean, I could bring in my Emperor, make a 2/2, it just blocks the Emperor and dies. That's not very good.
Years of training. For we must protect the people.
Yeah, that misplay might have cost me the game. One turn behind, I had a whole Emperor ahead of him. I could have had a whole Emperor ahead of him. Instead, I'm going to have a whole Emperor behind him. Lay down his arm. If he has a counter spell here, this is just bad. No counter spell, but
Keep watch for intruders.
I don't know how good that can be. I think my invasion would just eat it. I guess this invasion needs to give me Memory Deluge. Assuming it doesn't just get removed. Or it'll just get countered. Oh, 2 Field of Ruin. Really ruined my board here. To populate? Oh, that's... I'm perfectly okay with that. Did he draw a counterspell, though? If he didn't draw a counterspell, wouldn't it be better to Nisa?
Sow the seeds of perfection into the flesh of the Welcome, my companion.
No, let's make a 2/2.
Let your blade do the talking.
If he wants a white board, it's a whole turn. Nisa isn't that great, but it's on board and forces something. Invasion isn't. And now I can actually Invasion, get a card, and then kill him, and I get double. Oh boy.
Emotions are distractions. Focus on the facts.
Is he just gonna -5 me, or is he gonna plus? If he pluses, that would be great. Makes me mill. Even better.
Nothing could be more vulnerable.
Milling me is fan-frickin-tastic, honestly, because I don't know if he knows. Well, I know he doesn't know. I should say it that way. Right? That what I'm doing is something way more sinister.
We've got the edge in this fight.
Let's keep plussing.
Our strength multiplies.
We're taking so much damage randomly. Cyborg? Alright, let's get a devious cover-up. That would piss him off, huh? There we go. Enjoy. The Otherworldly can bring back a... cannot bring back a... can't talk. Can't bring back a battle. Temporary lockdown on this tokens. That's fine. I don't really have that many tokens that I really love. Let's keep going.
Welcome, my companion. May your blade strike true.
This is going to be one drawn-out game. Right, I can't play anything. There's nothing here to play. Make this bigger.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Does he just have a face? Sunfall, huh? Yeah, you got it. You got your Sunfall. That's just the 1/1. I don't care too much. Does he want to turn to life? He knows I have a cover-up. He doesn't know what else I have. Nisa's getting so big. And he... Does he have a Faithful Absence? Devious cover of stopping... Alright, the Devious cover is basically there for a counter... not a counter spell. It's countering a card draw because he's down to 1 card. So I'm gonna go to my turn now? Yeah? Come on. Thank you. I will go to my turn. And I'll get bigger.
Phyrexia must be nurtured.
I think I'm gonna cycle right now.
Let your blade do the talking.
The reason for that is because I might get a land that I have to play right now. I don't get a land that I have to play right now. He has an Emperor, probably? Is he just letting it happen? I will use a Leyline Binding, because this will give me double the spell. This does mean I can't play the Celestis, unfortunately, because I need to hold up my Devious cover-up. Right, if I tap 3, I won't have enough for a Devious cover-up. No, our opponents were... Oh, wait. Sorry. Oops. That was me holding it up. Not very good of me to do that. Plus on this.
Remember,
Let's get even bigger.
Welcome, my companion.
Mindbreaker. Do I just counter this? He's got 3 mana. He's probably got Dissipate up. That's just a creature. Pass. Also, I can just Nisa it. That's an artifact. I don't want to Nisa it. He'll be able to replay it. And he can't mill us because we'll endlessly cycle. So, that's our game. These games last forever, so I don't really have time for another game, but this Up Bant deck, I love it. I wonder how well this deck can do in the new meta game once Cavern comes out, because now we can't counter anything. With Cavern of Souls in the playing pool for the next 3 years, counterspell decks are worthless. That's heartbreaking. You know, anyone who plays Control knows that. It's like, counterspell decks are already hard enough to play. The fact that now they're going to make countering creatures impossible with, I hate to say it, with Cavern of Souls, I think that will blow out all of the counterspell decks. These decks are still fun because we can still kind of wipe the whole board, but I feel like those tempo aggressive, creature heavy, not tribal now, what is it called again? Not typo either, they changed it again. Kindred decks. Now with those kind of decks that fits very well with the Cavern of Souls style, I think that's just going to blow every other deck out of the water. Unfortunately, I think that's what it is. Fairy deck, going to be very strong. Because it's not just counterspell, right? Fairy decks got hand control, and then also the human decks. Human decks is very aggressive, and now we can't even counter their Halana and Lena, so when it drops down on play, oh boy, the whole board gets big, we just die. So I think that's where the top tier deck lists are going to be, unless Cavern of Souls gets banned, which I don't see it coming anytime soon. Not for a year. They might ban Cavern of Souls after a whole year of us just... Cavern of Souls and Thalia, they're basically stopping all control decks from playing anything. Just, hey, play aggro, play burn. That's their idea. This is going to be the new metagame now. But, at the very least, right before that happens, we play an Up the Beanstalk deck. We beat everybody, 100% win rate. This deck is... This got it all. And we saw the Invasion of Arcavios really hit its stride in that last game, because we just held up a counterspell. We just held up a counterspell and devious cover-up, but not just that, right? We had that devious cover-up, but the whole time our opponent's thinking, do I mill this guy? Do I really mill him? Because after I mill him, he's just going to put the cards he needs back in his deck. What's the point? And that's what I wanted. I wanted him to think about that, and then he played suboptimally, and we really capitalized on that. We did not have lands that game. That game, we basically did not draw any of the lands we needed. All the lands that we had drawn got blown up, so we are playing with basics. Our Leyline Binding cost 5 at some point. Still got through it. Because why? The sideboards. The wish board is so great. They can't really do anything against it, because they can't mill the sideboard, so these cards are always going to be there, and they can't really stop whatever exact card we need for the exact matchup we need. That's why I really love these kind of wish board cards. It's amazing. I just don't think it's fair that we can only have 7 instead of 15 cards, because those should be your sideboard. There should be 15 cards in there, but in a best of 1, for some reason, they just nerfed it and said, no, 7 for you. And yeah, so we kind of are limited, but even with those limits, this sort of sideboard choice kind of style game is still fan-freaking-tastic. I'm going to call this Up Bant Wish. Up Bant Wish is a lot better than Up Bant from Wish. And that's this deck list. I highly recommend that you play this deck. Try it out even in the new metagame after Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I feel like with all these Sunfall, Leyline Binding, we might still have a chance, right? You don't have to counter everything, and you might want to cut a Syncopate and add an extra March, because I think March is going to have a better sort of real estate than Syncopate in a lot of these decks, because we can't stop him from coming out, but at least we can take it out once it comes out. And yeah, that might still be something, right? So that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time in the Lost Cavern of Ixalan.